Alright, welcome everybody to the Castlevania Lords of Shadow New Game Plus and Full Power Speedrun Archival. We just did through Chapter 8. We're going to go ahead and work our way through Chapter 9 now. So at this point, if you were doing just New Game Run, the routes would look pretty similar. You just have to budget your holy water differently since you would have less of it. But now that you have access to double jump and all the other tools, you'd be able to do kind of whatever you would need inside of here. So Bones Forest
comes again with words of wisdom and advice.
Bones Forest has a couple of normal skips and a couple of difficult ones. You're going to come over here. The basic way to do this part is to jump up here and grab this and go across. Jumping over here and then climbing up. A slightly faster way is, if you can do it, you do one quick avalanche punch, swing your whip, and then grab that ledge. Saves a little bit of time. You could potentially do that as well. That is another option. A mistake there would cost you way more time than doing what I did, though. You double jump up here next. Running double jump over here. Then you need to make a decision. If you kept your Dark Crystal, you can break your Dark Crystal if it's full power, or New Game Plus here. If you break your crystal here, you will not have it for later in the game. So you need to keep that in mind. You also might have used your Dark Crystal on Carmela. So this is really kind of a decision thing. If you decide to use your Dark Crystal, you can defeat this arena immediately. Defeating this arena immediately, and defeating it, gives you a checkpoint here, which would be important if you're going to do the Chupacabra skip. If you're not going to do the Chupacabra skip, this is how you skip this arena. Or, sorry, if you're not going to use a Dark Crystal, this is how you skip it. Get over near this pot, and you're going to be doing a double avalanche backwards long jump over the fence to my left. Oops. See, you kind of land up here. Once you land up here, you can jump over the fence. Pretty simple. You basically just do that. The tricky part is if you get too close to the fence, you saw that it spews steam at you. Also, the enemies in there can sometimes be jerks and knock you around. But that's how you can skip that arena if you so choose. Let's see if I can get back in the arena now. Never actually tried. There we go. A little bit easier. For the purposes of this, because I'm going to have to show the Chupacabra skip, I'm going to break this. And like I said, by finishing this arena, you get a checkpoint. And you want to go this way. You take the lower path here. The upper path is completely optional. Does not lead you anywhere you need to be. You need to do a jump here to grab this. Jump here to grab this. Okay. So, if you're going to do the Chupacabra skip, it's important that you grab this ledge and not jump over it. If you're just going to take the Chupacabra, then you can go ahead and grab the ledge. Or then you can just catapult over. So, because I'm going to try to show the skip, I'm going to grab there. So, for Chupacabra skip, above me there's a tree. That tree has collision on its branches. If we were to just do a big jump and then try to backwards long jump from our current position right here, we would hit an invisible wall or be unable to get over it. So what we need to do instead is we need to slightly jump off of this cliff and then use some holy water and a backwards long jump to kind of jump over the canopy, going up left. As we're jumping over the canopy, we need to, after we get like a certain distance, we need to hit an avalanche punch and then use that to landslide punch towards the rear of the screen. So going forward into the map. If we don't do those two things, if we just fly over, there's a high probability we will hit a slope, and that slope will carry us right into the cutscene again. There's a couple ways you could do this. I normally just jump towards the screen off the ledge here and immediately throw holy water to get past the invisible wall. You could probably do a direct launch as well towards the screen. My main concern with a direct launch is it would be more horizontal space than you need. And since the collision for the Chupacabra cutscene is so large, I want to get as much space as I can between me and it. So let's see if we can hit it this time. 1, 2, second avalanche, swing over, avalanche, extend landslide that way. I am now over it. That is a lot harder than it looks. Yeah, it can lead to some pretty bad stuff if you don't do it that way. I guess I could go ahead and restart from checkpoint. Basically, after this, you can just continue with the level as normal. Do not go backwards, though. You will trigger it again. This time I'm going to trigger it on purpose. Oh, well. There we go. Chupacabra steals your gear. What'll happen... I guess I can't show it exactly. But if you don't hit that landslide punch perfectly, what'll happen is you'll be on like a slope here, and you'll slide down into the Chupacabra. So you definitely want to move far enough forward that the Chupacabra cutscene is past you, but you want to start the avalanche higher than you would think. So it's kind of like right when you get over the canopy, start your avalanche, and then start your landslide going to the rear of the screen. And just like it says, you can't jump this distance without your relics, so you need to go fetch them. So now I'm going to show the other thing. In case you don't want to do this skip, how you do it normally, go up here. Whoops. Sorry. Up here, up here, up here. If you didn't want to go that way, instead you could go like this. And it's literally pretty much the same thing. Just whatever you feel comfortable with. You want to switch to fairies, since we still have our sub-weapons active. And you want to use rolls, because rolls are more efficient. You're going to get a big troll. Release a fairy, and you need to get control of it. It's probably going to take 2 fairies, I believe. Although it might be 3. Wow, he just ignored that fairy. What a boss. I was a little bit flippant with him. I should have released the fairy earlier. But yeah, it might take 2. It might take 3. But regardless, you can use fairies to dominate this fight, is I guess basically what I'm trying to get at. Wow. Okay, so it's looking like a comfortable 3 in order to kill him. It's been a while since I've done this. Go ahead and get him. Break this rock. Continue over here. Break this rock. Kill the troll. He's stunned as you do this, so you don't need to worry about using a fairy. Grab him. And then you want to go back out the way you came. If you go back out that way, towards the rear of the screen, it takes you back in the level, and you'd have to go through some other stuff. This way's more efficient, so go this way. Jump over this, come over here. As you're falling, you're going to grab that grapple point. And I mean, that whole section with the Chupacabra is what we were skipping with doing that high jump over the canopy. So at this point, the routes have converged again. This is all very simple. Just kind of go across. Nothing too major. Drop down here, immediately start running. This right here, this jump, you have to get a running start to hit. If you don't do a running double jump, you won't be able to catch that. The intended way to do this climbing section is to jump up here and get that. It's possible to skip that and grab that instead. That's a little bit tight, though, to get that. So, and as you can see, sometimes it puts you in that weird state where sometimes you can't jump across as a result of just being lined up weird. So you'll have to debate. It's like a 2, maybe 3-second time save if you hit it. But if you miss it, then basically the first time you might be even. The second time you're definitely losing time. So, you know, approach it accordingly. Woesmore. Woesmore is a totally broken level as well. Woesmore, we're actually going to see how many you need. Normally I use 2 holy waters in Woesmore. You can break these in order to get a little bit of space. You want to try to keep these pots, because these pots will give you extra height, which could be useful for the skip. I'm actually going to try to use the least holy water possible here, maybe. So, launch, avalanche, launch, avalanche. Okay. Let's try this. Okay, so you definitely need at least 1 holy water. So let's see if 1 is enough. Okay. So it's going to take you about 2 holy water in order to do this. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and restart the stage. And we'll do it with a 2 holy water. You do want to do the backwards long jump if possible. It's a little bit easier to get over the wall I'm talking about. The wall is straight this way, kind of, that we're getting over. See, like that. I stomped just to get to the ground faster. We're now out of bounds underneath Woesmore. You could do that using more holy waters with a landslide punch, but 2 holy waters is very safe, and you can get over here pretty easily. I'll just show it one more time from the beginning. So come over here. And it's double avalanche punch, double holy water, and a backwards long jump. So it's up, holy water, backwards long jump. See, that time I won't stomp, just so you can see. Now, once we're out of bounds here, we want to go up and left. And normally inside of this stage, there's a bunch of sub-bosses. And when you beat the sub-bosses, the keys spawn. But the keys actually exist underneath the level. So what we're going to do is we're going to collect them. I collect them in this order. The last key that you collect is the place you're going to start from when you restart the level to get back in bounds. So because of that, I usually collect them in this order. You could collect this one or the last one that I'm getting in either that or... you could either pick up the one I just picked up or this one I'm about to pick up last. I would not pick up the one to the side, the first one I picked up. If you pick up that one, you need to run like circles around the level to get out, so it's much better to get one of the other 2. Once you pick it up, you can quit out and end up in bounds. From here, you run back to the start of the level. Little experimentation here for me. Okay, didn't work. I've theorized that maybe you can skip this crow cutscene by doing a shadow charge. I haven't been able to get it happen yet. If you get the crow scene, then you can't skip it. But it doesn't matter, you have all 3 keys. You can go up. And it's time for the music box.
The old hag has cast a spell on Gabriel, making...
Okay, music box. For the music box, basic concept. You pick up cylinders. You take the cylinders over here. Each cylinder color is related to a trap. For example, green makes spikes go away. So, for example, when I play it, during the 20 seconds, the spike trap goes on and off, and you can get through it. Okay. Now, as a point of order, the PlayStation version has a skip where you can do something similar to this. And with that double jump, you can go under the invisible wall on the left, out of bounds. Then you can use a very, very extended Holy Water Avalanche Punch combo to get on top of the stage. Getting on top of the stage allows you to rush all the way to the blue rose and complete the level. I have not found a way to do this on PC yet, so I won't really do it. Another thing that's different on the PC version compared to console, the death collision on these pits where the platform spawn seems to be much higher. Because of that, there is a strategy where you could make a jump like this, say. Like that. That is considerably harder to do on PC. Not impossible, as you saw I just did it, but it's a lot harder to do. If you did that, you could skip getting the red cylinder and immediately go for the next cylinder on the list. So instead of going towards this place to get the red cylinder, you would go this way. And I'll kind of show that. So skipping the red cylinder, you'd go over here.
You alive? Yes, you are. Good, good.
As you can see, it's a really, really precise jump, which is why I do not recommend it. But I do want to show it, just for completeness purposes. See, it's like... it's pretty frustrating, to be honest.
Dangerous, the music box is. You
Alright, we'll try it one more time.
Yes, you are. Good, good.
Okay. If you did that, then you come over to these spikes. And you do this puzzle. That would allow you to get the purple here. Now, if you do it that way, even though it is faster technically, now you have to do, like, way harder bullshit. Because now, you have to do it again.
You are not as good as he said you would be.
And I mean, the minute that you fail this, like, once, it's no longer saving you time. But then you could go over here.
Baba knew you would.
See. Funny enough, this is actually like a unloaded sphere. But you could complete the rest of the puzzle like that, is how that works. Let's see. Funny enough, that's there now. So it gave us access to the red without us actually picking it up, which is kind of funny. However, as you can see, now it's not loading the yellow, which is what we put in the second slot. So that's kind of the downside to that. There's some weird glitches regarding that, but we're going to go ahead and do this normally. You could always restart from checkpoint, and by restarting from checkpoint, you would gain access to all this stuff. So, let's go ahead and do this for real this time. now that we're not doing something super dumb and hard.
Find blue rose for Papa.
So go over here. I like to roll to these locations. They're within rolling range, and it's a little faster, I think, than running over to them. You can definitely make this cycle if you run quick enough. Pick up the red, roll towards the teleporter, skip. Run over to this. Okay, so green is spikes, red is platforms. After this, red will always be first. So always keep red first there. Next place you go is to the right of here. So while you don't want to jump over the whole gap, you could kind of cut a little corners and do a double jump going this way, like on the second platform. After this, you go left. Do not hit that yellow glowing platform. That's how you teleport back to the start, in case you mess up. Purple.
They taste.
Alright, so purple. Purple is grinding gears. It's that trap. So grinding gears is actually right after platforms, going to the right. So we're going to swap that with that. So it's going to be platforms, grinding gears, and then spikes, which we're not going to run into. Okay. Come over here, grinding gears. You roll under grinding gears to get under them. Grab, roll out. Come over here. Yellow is flame jets. Flame jets only appear in one place in the entire place if you're doing it the speedrun route. So we go platform, flame jet. The rest of this doesn't matter. The rest of it is going to be down this path. So for this, you wait for all of them to go off, and then you shadow charge through. All of them go off, shadow charge through. That's kind of a tight timing, but you can get used to it. It's not too bad. Luckily, that's the only time you need to do that one. Next one's blue. Blue is electricity. There is only one electricity trap, and you're only going to need to get through it once in order to finish this. So the last final order is red, blue, purple, because we're going to hit gears, and then spikes. So platforms, lightning, gears, spikes. And that's the last one. And then we're not going to run into flamethrower for this one. So lightning. If you reach lightning early, you can actually get through it much faster than intended. That's one of the upsides if you do skip the red cylinder. I'm going to do it kind of normally here. 1, 2, 3, shadow dash through. That goes to the end, shadow dash through. So I'm actually going to show that again so that you can kind of see it again. So for the first section, it's going to go like 2 of them are going to activate, 2 of them are going to activate, 1 of them activates, and then it goes empty. So you want to go through it after that empty slot with only the single. If you go to it quickly, when it switches over to the blue section of the music, the lightning is completely off. So for example, if you get there quick enough like this, you can actually just dash through immediately. This one, as you can see, it sequentially turns on. Once it hits the last one, dash through. Easy enough. Come over here, then you can blow time. I like to block to this music. You can go ahead and roll through. And then you're waiting for spikes here, and this is the end of level. Alright. So, pretty straightforward level as long as you can get through the flamethrowers and the lightning. But it is important to keep like an idea of what you're trying to do at any time and to associate the colors with traps. So it's like the first one's green because you need to get through the spikes for the red. Then red will always be first. So then it goes red-green. Then it's red-purple. Then after that, it's red-yellow. And then lastly, it's red, blue, purple, green. Alright, chapter 10.
Baba Yaga sent
Oh
our
man,
hero
the
to
fun
Titan's
chapters.
graveyard, and I have sent her soul.
So these are probably some of the hardest levels in the game. I'll try to do my best to explain them in a way that makes sense. Come over here. You can just climb this normally if you want. In order to do that, you climb up here. This is a little bit slow. So what I do instead is I jump across, launch, one avalanche punch swing, and I grab there. From here, you climb up to the top, grapple, go around the corner, go up, go around the corner, go across, grapple. Go across, up, grapple. And as you can see, I'm hitting grapple before I even fully, like, climb certain sections. Once you hit there, you're gonna backwards jump, and you go up here. Okay. Point of order. It is possible to skip this climbing section. It is... I don't understand how it works perfectly, though. It involves doing stuff like this, and hoping that you don't hit death collision somehow. It's not particularly easy, and it's not particularly consistent. You could also try to stomp through it as well. Another thing I've tried to do sometimes is do stuff like this. But yeah, it's balls hard. I don't understand how it works, and this isn't a particularly long climbing section either because you can drop. So you get here, drop off. Jump across, come here. There, drop off, stomp. So very fast climbing section. If you could hit the skip, it'd be awesome. Save like, 5-7 seconds, but it's not that big a deal. Okay, we're gonna come up to a skip here. Running up here, this is an arena. Unfortunately, we do not have a checkpoint. By not having a checkpoint, if we had to restart, we would end up back at the top of that climbing section. So what we're going to do, we're going to come up to this kind of rock formation on the side that's kind of rough. Double jump, single avalanche, single holy water. And I'm pressing kind of up left there. After I throw the holy water, I let go. Land on this invisible ledge. Now, what's happening is this invisible wall is blocking. Normally, when you complete a puzzle, this arm, like this rock to my left, the bottom left of the screen is an arm. That arm would move so that it would make a bridge so that we could get across to those islands. That bridge still exists right now, but it's kind of tricky to get on it. If you miss the bridge, you end up in the swamp, and then you're dead, basically. It's going to 100 to 0 you. There's nothing you can do about it, really. The best way I found to do it, shadow charge, straight to the back of the stage, and then double jump going upright. So, shadow charge, upright. Now I'm on the invisible arm. Okay. Now, it is possible the invisible arm does stop before it hits the island. So, you don't want to go all the way because you could end up falling off and fall into the swamp and still die. So what you're going to do is kind of plan it out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. From here, I can probably make the jump with a good running jump. Like, I get a good feeling for that. So, do a running jump, stomp down if you need to. From here, you're going to running jump onto here. The intended route from here is you can go this way, and then go across here, and then go across. Okay? That's the intended route. If you're low on light magic, that's what I would recommend you do. If it's full power, or if you feel like you have light magic to burn, which is possible. Definitely possible. You're going to do this. So I mentioned how light magic can be used to get over webs. Light magic can actually be used to get over swamps as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to activate light magic, float over the swamp, and go to the back left onto the island. It would be up there, like above me, kind of in the screen. There's like a big torso of a Titan on it. Something to note about Ultimate Light. Once you pick a direction for Ultimate Light, it will keep going in that direction despite you changing the direction unless you go to neutral on the stick and then change direction. So, go up. I want to change direction, so I let go to neutral and then go up left. That gets me up here. Okay. This is a hard skip, but I think one you kind of have to learn. If you didn't, you would have to run around and get 2 pieces of this Titan to activate it. In order to do that, you would have to fight coffin monsters. Coffin monsters take a lot of resources to fight. They're not particularly fun to fight either. So even though this is a really difficult skip to learn, you kind of just have to learn it. Luckily, once we reach that second island after the arm, we did hit a checkpoint. So even if we restart, we're still at a pretty good place. So, nice little whirly bird over here. Okay, now, you definitely want to break these rocks over here, because we're going to be using Landslide Punch. This is where that extending landslide helps a lot. To kind of touch on extending landslide again. This is your normal landslide punch. It moves you a certain distance backwards. If you hold jump as you do landslide, it moves you way further backwards. We are going to use that extra movement to our advantage, hopefully. The goal is this. That joint of his shoulder, right there, that I'm whipping, kind of. I'll try to get up high again to show it. This little flat piece right there that I'm whipping on his shoulder, we're trying to land on that, basically. And it's pretty hard to get to, but we're going to try our best. Difficulties that are involved with this. His elbow is at more than a 90-degree angle. If I jump from here, for example, it like pushes me away. So you can't just like launch from here, because if you just launch from here, you see how I'm getting like stopped by his shoulder. And that'll persist even if I start like kind of from here. Like I'm still gonna lose a little bit of space. That was actually a really good start. But because of that, you want to start kind of at his mid-bracer here, or a little bit back. Because otherwise you just won't be able to hit it. I'm going to try to hit it a few times. Basic concept, we're going to do a double avalanche punch. We're going to turn away with the second avalanche punch, and then try to landslide, extend, going left. So let's see if I can hit it here. See, that's what's most common thing to happen, is you just get caught on some geometry and you aren't able to actually do it. Or you're not high enough like that. So that's why this is a difficult strat to get. But if you get it, you land up here. Okay? This is where you want to be. Okay, to kind of talk about this a little bit. What's supposed to happen is, again, there is an invisible bridge that the Titan is supposed to kind of put his arm out, parallel to his body, going that way. Right now, there is a huge invisible wall that blocks that path. As far as I know, we don't have a way to get over it. What it does do, though, is once you get on that path, it triggers a camera angle. That camera angle is what we need. If that camera angle doesn't load, I do not think the end of level trigger loads. So what we're going to do is, despite there being tons of invisible walls here, including ones headed towards the rear of the screen where I am, and somewhat in front of me as I would jump to the right of the screen. We need to jump in such a way that we get high enough to trigger that camera and backwards long jump up and right, basically. So I'm going to try to do that. Okay. I'm going to use holy water to do this. You could technically do this with a basic double jump if you did it perfectly. If you do it that way, you can actually jump into the end of level trigger. Mine is slower, but it's the only way I can reliably do it RTA for sure. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to jump. And that camera changes what we need. So even though we're in the swamp, we're going to keep moving up. And we got the camera we need. So because we got the camera we need, we can actually slowly make our way to the end of level trigger there. Like I said, if you got a really good double jump or really good backwards long jump, you could potentially just fly straight into that end of level trigger. But oftentimes you'll fall inside the muck and have to kind of trudge your way through. Unfortunate things, if you fall inside of the swamp while trying to jump onto that ledge, you dead. You gotta restart. You could use a holy water to try to facilitate getting a little bit higher, to make getting on the shoulder a little easier, but that is actually a pretty dang hard ledge to land on, so you just gotta kind of work with it and practice. Alright. Fire Pinnacle. Fire Pinnacle is Pan. This is another place you could potentially use a Dark Crystal.
Let's see how powerful you are.
Pan takes away your magic, so you can't just ultimate him to death. If you have your Dark Crystal use it, it can make the fight much shorter. The basic concept here is you want to attack Pan some, and then parry his attacks. This seems really difficult, but in actuality, his attacks have a really decent wind-up and pretty easy to parry animations. This is one QTE, and then a mash. You now have access to your light magic. If Pan turns on his light magic, do not use yours, just do the parry strategy. If he turns it off like he just did, which is perfect luck, ultimate light him to death. So 3 QTEs there. Okay, after he gives you back Shadow Magic, he will always go Light Magic from what I know. So you want to go Shadow. This is bad luck, but it's not too bad. And then charge him. If he changes his magic mid-attack here, then just switch to Ultimate Light instead. Hardest QTE in the game if you do every skip. Moves very fast, get ready for it. It moves from left to right across the screen also. And here it is. Okay, after you throw it, you can skip. Okay, that QTE is kind of hard to do. It's very fast, and because it moves across the screen as it does it, it can kind of mess with your eyes. You just got to be ready for it and anticipate it. I'm going to do that fight one more time. This time I'm going to do, like, I'm going to basically show you what would happen if you didn't have a Dark Crystal. If you didn't, you basically just do this and it'd take you a little bit longer. If he starts blocking, he's going to do an unblockable afterwards, so, you know, just kind of let him do that. But you can already see, like, it takes not a huge amount of time longer, but long enough that you don't really want to deal with it if possible. So it's 1 QTE here, and you break his arm. So let's say he turns on light magic so that you can't use your ultimate light, then just go back to the parry strategy. But as you do the parry strategy, pay attention. So like he turned off his light, so I could do ultimate light here. So, you know, just pay attention. If he turns off that ultimate light, punish him by doing ultimate light. And like I said, Pan's a lot easier to parry than like other guys in the game, surprisingly. Like, for some reason, they really made him have a heavy parry timing.
You will need also shadow magic.
So once again, he always activates light, as far as I know. Just immediately charge him. If he switches to shadow during this, switch to light. Then prepare for the QTE. I'm actually going to try to skip this a little earlier, because I'm questioning if I need to wait as long as I normally do. So let's see. Okay, so basically after you throw it back and wing it, you can immediately skip. Fire
So
Cemetery.
the old god is dead.
This is a running double jump. You can't make it otherwise, so just do that. Go to the side once and come up here. The intended route is to go off here, move to the side, and then jump across. What you can do instead, if you so desire, is do something like... not that. Is do something like this. You can kind of like jump and then double jump and try to grab one of those ledges. There's ledges kind of like all in this area. See, like there. That's a slight climbing skip. You could also jump and kind of curve and grab these sections. Another thing you could do instead that I've been playing with is do a backwards long jump to hit the upper platform on the upper right of the screen there, like this. You could do a double jump like that, which is kind of strict. An easier thing to do would be like that. Okay. Now, this next section, intended path, you go over here, you kind of climb across and get to that ring and then grapple across. I've been playing with another thing lately, which is a little bit difficult. But it's also very powerful if you hit it. I'm going to try to do it. Ugh. As you can see, the death collision's kind of a problem here. Also, these guys are kind of a problem. Get out of here. Wow. They really don't want me to grab that ledge. That's surprising. So for some reason, they really don't want to grab that ring. Let me see if I can force it here. Yeah, this might be a little bit harder than I originally thought. Because I was doing it pretty well before. There we go. That's how you could do it. As you could see, it was a little bit jank and didn't work a bunch. So you probably should workshop that a bit if you need to. But that would be a climbing skip. That would save about 8 seconds. 8 to 12 seconds. And you come over here. So we're going to be setting up for a Chupacabra skip here. You jump off of this cliff. Wait a little bit, because you kind of want to either grab this ledge or grapple up. Because if you go too far forward here, you'll activate the Chupacabra. And then you'll have to do his thing. With that in mind, what I like to do, if I wanted to do 0 holy water, this is what I would do. I would launch, 1, 2, backwards long jump, okay? I've now skipped the scene. 2 possibilities. If you can sometimes catch the second cutscene. The second cutscene is not where he takes you gear, but where he appears inside of the cage in front of me. I'll kind of try to activate that. So I still have my relics, but the Chupacabra is in his cage right now. So sometimes you get that one. So if you get a cutscene, don't think you necessarily failed immediately. Okay. Something to look at when you're doing this double backwards long jump. That chain that's hanging around this canyon, you want to go over that chain, basically, is how this works. If you have resources to blow, you could always do something like this, just to guarantee that you're going to get over. That's really more of a full power thing, of course, but, you know, if you have the resources, use them. This is an easy puzzle. If you do not have much... Well, you have a magic refill here. So you always have magic. What you want to do... Punch. Do the flip, which is holding block and then mashing jump. Okay, so this is how you do it. I wanted to kind of show the concept here. Because I didn't show how to backflip. It's just hold, dodge, mash, jump. So, flip, hit there. Easy enough. And then you can refill your magic here if you want. Alright.
Fueled by
Crematory
the
oven.
flames of hell
This is going to be the last part of this section of the archival. Skip here. These guys die to holy water, so feel free to use that. If you're lucky, you can kill all of these guys like I just did before they get in the coffins. If they get in the coffins, you're probably going to need to use a combination of magic or holy water to kill them efficiently. Because they are very, very durable. They are very annoying because of the moveset they have. But if you're lucky, you can basically just use the holy waters on them. If you're doing a full power run, or if you have access to it, you could always use a dark crystal to kill them off as well. But the holy water's a little quicker. Gravedigger. Okay, so we are going to show two things of doing this. Gravedigger's a very difficult skip. Very difficult skip. So I'm going to show the normal way to fight him first. You have full life, full mana. Use them. If you want to fight him normally, skip the scene. Very easy fight, just like the others. Just use your ultimate shadow to kind of dominate the fight. You can use ultimate light if you want to deal more damage. As you can see, he doesn't really get knocked back too much, so ultimate light's quite good against him. Once you get to this stage, you need to walk over here and do some cranking. After you're done cranking this, you walk up to him and do the throw. One of the nice things about Gravedigger is his QTEs are all mashes. They aren't timed. So you're going to have a QTE mash right here coming up as he pulls it. And one more QTE mash as he pushes into him. So pretty easy. Now, you have one more QTE. You cannot skip this scene because this is a QTE. If you do not skip Gravedigger, this is the hardest QTE in the game because it's very fast. It's as these tentacles come up, they will grab Gabriel and pull him. So be ready for it. So that happens, he pulls you, you get broken down, and here it is. Boom. That can be really hard to hit on console, particularly because it's a lower frame rate. But once you hit that, you're all good. Very simple climbing section here. The lava is actually rising here, but you shouldn't be a problem at all if you're moving well. So move to the side, climb up, jump up here, go up, go across, come over here, jump backwards, go across, jump across, go up, grapple, go up, go to the side, grapple, back jump, side, climb up, jump across here, whip up there to get your grapple point, up, side, up, jump up here. Wow, that was weird. That's like not a grab point. It's pretty funny. Grapple across here, go up. Funny enough, this grapple point can be activated very soon after falling off the ledge, like that. Definitely what you want to do, because crawling across is very slow. And that's the end of Crematory Oven. Now I'm going to do my best to explain the Gravedigger skip. So here's an idea of the coffin. As you can see, fairies can't do anything to them. Holy water's pretty good, though. Another thing you could do is use your light water shield to try and fight them. But as you can see, these guys are really durable. So, much better for you to hit them with the holy water or break a dark crystal if possible. There is the potential for 2 or 3 of those to show up as well, so if you can avoid it, you want to try to. Okay, Gravedigger skip. Okay, how to explain this? The crematory chimney exists underneath the stage. The texture does, at least. However, there is no real collision on the tube underneath the platform I'm on. So what we're going to try to do is around the outside, like around the circle that makes the border of the crematory oven, there is a ledge you can stand on to go around it. We are trying to aim for that. Failing that, you could potentially get really lucky and hit the lava inside the crematory oven. If you hit the lava, when it restarts you, you're restarted inside of the chimney. So you still skip the boss, but it's a little less efficient because you have to do the climbing section still. So the big problem here is there is so much death collision underneath the stage that you can run into. The best way I can explain what we're attempting to do is we're attempting to hit kind of the edges of the tube on either the left or right side. I do the right side. So what we need to do is we need to, as these bricks are falling, we need to get under the stage and jump towards the corners of the crematory. So I'll try to show you kind of what we're talking about here. So these things are breaking. So kind of trying to delay my fall so you can see. Like, let me delay my fall so you guys can see a little easier what I'm talking about. A point of order, you want to try to bait him to swing without hitting you and not crowding you. So as you can see, it continues down. And we want to try to hit like the outside circle on either the left or right side. If we go too far right or too far left, we hit death collision. If we head too far down the center, we hit death collision. If we don't get enough velocity from a backwards long jump, we will hit death collision because we will not have traveled far enough. It's a really precise trick. One of the secrets to this is that we are going to be holding block as the floor breaks. If you're blocking as the floor breaks, you are able to do a ground move for a split second in midair. So what we're attempting to do is kind of let the ground break. We're going to sink with the ground a little bit while holding block, and then we're going to launch. With that launch, we're hoping to get into a position where we're closer to our destination and underneath the platform. We don't necessarily need to be underneath the platform, like straight under it, but we want to be lower than the platform so we don't jump on top of it. If you jump on top of the platform, you will have triggered the boss, and that means that you either have to do the boss fight or you need to start the stage over and fight the ghouls that go in the coffins again. It is much better to fall and die than it is to land inside of the arena. Because if you fall and die, you end up here where I'm at, and you can try a lot more efficiently. So we're going to try what we can here to show you. So I move forward a little bit so that I don't get knocked down. Wait for his attack. That's a slam. That's a shockwave. I jump over it. I come over here. Block. Launch. Try to position myself so that when I backwards long jump, I hit the corner. That was perfect. Okay. I am now on a, not like a extremely thin ledge, but on a thin ledge that is on the circle of the chimney of the crematory oven. If I go too far to the left, I will fall down and be in an unrecoverable state. If I fall to the right, probably the same would happen, or I would hit death collision. If I hit the death collision, then I would probably have to restart. So very important to be very careful how you move from this point on. So you want to try to move so that you get this camera angle. This camera angle where you're clipping through stuff allows you to see where you are going. Our goal is, you see the big tower in the background, kind of like on the left side of the screen. The top of it goes through the life bar. We want to head kind of in that vicinity. As we head in that vicinity, we're going to get a camera change. Right there. That grapple point is what we're looking for. And we want it to be active. If we move a little bit too far, it will not be active. Like, I'm going to try to force that. Okay, I can't. Sometimes it won't be active. You have to kind of finagle around if that happens. Or maybe do a double jump. A double jump can sometimes get you in range to get it. Once that's active, hit grapple. You're now here. This is the very end of the climbing section. And you've successfully done the Gravedigger skip. I'm not going to lie. This is as hard as All Rock skip. It is brutally difficult to hit. But that blocking technique, so that you can do a attack as you're falling, is kind of the key that allows it to be viable RTA. Problems that can happen. I guess I can just do it again and you'll start to see them. If Gravedigger moves too far to the side, because you auto-lock on, you could end up launching in a wrong direction that puts you at a bad angle. If I go too far to the center, like this, I hit death collision. If I go too far to the right, as I'm going to do here, then I should hit death collision as well. So, like, not only is it a very precise backwards long jump, but you also need to be... Whoa, that was really bad. Not only is it a really precise backwards long jump, but you also kind of have to hope that Gravedigger doesn't move in a way that messes up your positioning, which is rough. So we go this way. So if I go too far to the right here, then I die. Okay. I'll do one more thing that can happen, which is, like I said, if you accidentally go back on the platform. You can actually land on a small island that's on this spike to the right of me here. That spike is kind of a jerk, honestly. Wow, what a badass. Just completely smoked me there. Alright, but this will be the last thing to cover inside of this chapter, and I'll call it for this section of the Archival. But let's say... Wow, okay. So that's kind of a problem. If you hold block for too long, or if you hold block as you're pressing attack to try and do the launch, then you can get that punch. Wow, I am... okay. One more time. This time I should get it. I'm trying to be, like, quick about it, and the problem is by moving... The reason I stay so far away from him at the start is because if you get too close, he does his tentacle attack. And his tentacle attack is very quick, so he can usually kind of give you problems if that happens. So if you accidentally go too high, you end up inside the level. And if you end up inside of the arena and try to restart, then you end up here. So that's the problem with that. There are ways that you can do the Gravedigger skip from this location, but they're not really RTA viable, in my opinion. Much better to go for the other one. But that's going to do it for up to Chapter 10 of the Lords of Shadow New Game Plus and Full Power Archival. As I mentioned, this is not meant to be a tutorial exactly. I am going to continue to work on the Lords of Shadow tutorial, but I wanted to get this out there as a archival of everything that I've learned up to this point, in case something happens and I'm not able to finish the tutorial. Next up we'll have Chapter 11, which is a short chapter, but with a lot of depth to it, and the final fight, which is pretty easy. But, I will see you guys another time for this. Alright, for those of you inside of chat, sorry I wasn't